In this video, we're going to talk about how to use Eclipse to help you fix syntax errors as you edit your code. You can use an IDE such as Eclipse to find those syntax errors as you type them. And so you don't have to actually run your code to see if you have syntax errors. Eclipse will highlight those for you as you type. So here I have a Java program, and we'll pretend that I downloaded this. And you can see that there are some issues. Wherever Eclipse sees an issue, it'll underline that code in red. And so you can see that here. Now what's nice is, if I hover the mouse over the error, it'll tell me what's wrong. In this case, the declared package doesn't match the expected package. And it also gives me two ways to fix this. And so you can see that the package that my code is in is called my package, and the package declaration is different. So the choices are, I can either move this program to that package, and Eclipse will do that for me, or I can change the package declaration to my package. And depending on what you want the actual package to be, you can select one of these options. Here, I'm going to change the package declaration to my package, and you'll notice that error goes away. We have another error. We have a scanner, and it says it can't resolve that to a type, and then it gives me some options. Now here you have to be careful, because what's happening is that it doesn't know what scanner is, and we need to tell it where we want to get the scanner package. And in general, we're going to want to choose java.util. Anytime you see this error, usually the java.whatever package is the one you want to import. And if I click this, notice it adds the import method for me. And I still have an error here. I still have an issue with the constructor because I didn't tell it what file I wanted to use here. And so I'll say system.in. And you'll notice my error goes away. If I wanted to use this scanner, I could say something like scanner next num, and notice that gives me an error because next num is undefined as a scanner method. But perhaps you notice though, when I typed this period, it gave me my options. And so I can use Eclipse to see what those options are. And here I want this to be an integer. So I say next int, and now I have a working piece of code. And I'll go ahead and print what that number is. So let's run this code. And before we run this, I would want to point out that probably it would have been best to run this code to test that it was working before I started adding code. And now it says my Java program, but then it doesn't do anything. Now this sometimes happens when you're using a scanner. The code actually isn't done running. And you can see down here, there's this stop button. That tells you the code is actually running. And I can click the stop button to stop it, and notice there's an exception. That's because I stopped it unexpectedly. So let me run this again, and what it's doing is it's actually waiting for a number. So if I enter a 10, it'll say I entered a 10. And you'll notice now that red square is no longer highlighted with color. Now, one other thing you'll notice is even though the program worked, there is something highlighted in yellow. And this is because I have a resource leak. Scanner is never closed. I have the option here to suppress the warning, but that's actually a real problem. I want to fix it. I don't want to just add this suppress warning so that the warning goes away. I want to fix the problem. That's one thing you definitely want to keep in mind. Eclipse gives you options to make the warning or error go away, but choose the correct one. In this case, I didn't get a good one because what I want to do is call the close method of my scanner when I'm done using it. Now, technically, this is a small program with just a main. Scanner would get closed when main exits, but it's always good practice to try to write code that doesn't have any warnings because I don't know how I'm going to refactor this code later on. So that's a quick introduction to using Eclipse to help you avoid errors in your code.